Hello, happy Friday. I think I'm gonna follow the tradition of my manager. He sends us a Friday video, recap video for the week every week. I think I'm gonna follow the week's tradition. But today I'm recording this video because I have something that I really want to bring, which is related and relevant to the shift that we are seeing right now happening across the world, which is AI. So very grateful that yesterday I had the opportunity to be a part of a roundtable discussion for CS leaders in Dublin, and we were coming from different companies, different industries, and having a conversation around customer success. It was a part of the customer success network, but also majorly focused on AI. We went into a few different directions, also talking about like how we are using AI in personal lives, how AI is being used at work, what are the different ways that companies are implementing AI at work, how are we upskilling people, and the individual contributors to be able to use AI at work. And this video is not going to give you all the notes around it, because I am definitely going to put it in the newsletter for Customer Success Network. So if you've not subscribed for it, do subscribe for it. But I do want to share, and I will share it in a LinkedIn post later today. But what I did want to share in the video specifically is this initiation of the thought, which is also the essence, the very center of the podcast that we are building, right? Like the whole idea around it is we really want people to think about AI and to start thinking about it in different walks of life, not just that tech industry and people in tech industry are going to use AI. So the first message, AI is not a nice to have. AI is not something that I'm going to choose if I want to have it or not. AI has become a must have. Just the same way as internet was not a nice to have, it was not something that you could choose whether I want to be on the internet or not. Internet arrived and everybody was on internet. And especially someone who's from my generation, we've had a good chunk of our life without internet, and then we've had a good chunk of our life now with internet. To be honest, I've had like a longer chunk of my life without internet rather than the breadth and the depth of the life that I've had with internet. But the way I have grown with internet in my life is tremendously different from the previous generation. So when I talk with my uncle, it's such a different conversation for him to understand how our work has changed, how our professional world has changed, and how our jobs have changed. It's a learning curve for him as well, right? So internet happened, AI has happened. Are you resisting AI? You're not alone. I was resisting AI for the longest time, and I'll tell you why. And I actually discussed this yesterday at the panel, and I had one of the other CS leaders who said exactly, yes, I was exactly feeling the same. I'm a writer, and AI is helping people write, right? This is one of the most simplest and most widely used use case. It's helping people write. But when I say I'm a writer, for me, writing is a critical thinking skill. It's a part of my craft. It's what I am good at. It's what differentiates me. It is what helps me actually articulate my thoughts right now as I'm speaking, because I don't have a script in front of me. So writing is a core fundamental part of me, because I've been doing it since I was 10 years old, and I have journals and journals, heaps of journals filled, right? So those are my places where I have articulated and put my thoughts, which made me differentiate myself from someone who was not doing it, and now everyone is able to do it. So obviously I was a little bit wary of this thing until I actually started using it personally, specifically for the business and the podcast I'm building. So this was the use case which actually drove me towards AI. I'm very grateful that I work in a company like HubSpot, because we are very, very ahead at the forefront of using AI. The leadership has a very clear strategy on how to use AI, and they are enabling us with every way possible for us to become comfortable and skilled in using AI. But I had resistance in that. I definitely had resistance, because I thought like AI is replacing me. I mean, if AI is doing all of this, what is my job? Like what value am I going to bring? It has shifted, obviously, my view has shifted. But coming to my personal, like I I got myself a personal Gemini Pro subscription, like a Google Pro subscription. I have Gemini, I have Notebook LM, I have all of that, and I use every single one of them to be able to build this business from the scratch with the assistance from from AI. So it's kind of like a co-pilot for me. It's kind of, I'm not talking about Microsoft Copilot, so don't get confused. I'm talking about Copilot in the sense of the word, that it's an assistant for me. It is something that's working with me. It's understanding my thoughts around how the business I want to develop, what are the ideas. It's trying to understand what's the essence of the podcast, etc. So it helped me shift. And the way it happened is that we had an enablement session in person at our summit in May, and the very wonderful Quentin, who was also there yesterday at the round table, like, he and other leaders had guided us through live sessions of how we can start using AI. But are you thinking of how you're using AI already? I'm sure you are. If you're listening to the video so far ahead, it's 6 minutes. I'm sure you are using AI, or at least you're intrigued and interested on how you can use AI. And the second thing is obviously, like, if you are not using AI, then there is a bigger problem, right? Like, then there is a scope for you to start using it and even start understanding. Like, one thing that Quentin said yesterday, which I really liked, was that we all use Google. Literally every single one of us uses Google. I mean, you could go to the remotest village in India right now, and a kid would have a phone in his hand or her hand, and they would say, I'm gonna Google something. But have you noticed that you are already using AI if you're using Google search? Because when you're searching something, the first thing that comes up is the AI summaries that Google is giving you. So you are interacting with AI. And that point that Quentin said really stayed with me, because it's so true. So this is your simplest use case where you're using AI. I'm gonna start building a lot more of these videos along with the podcast recordings that we'll start having and hopefully rolling out. The timeline is January 2026, fingers crossed. So every conversation that I'm having with different leaders here, whether they're in tech, whether they're in other industries, and I do see the value in bringing people from many different industries into this conversation, is helping me understand the depth and the breadth, and also the critical thinking of leaders, because they are also getting onto this wave of AI and trying to adapt and implement it in an ethical way, in a way that they can, but also to show the productivity. So one of the big questions we all kind of left with is, how are we calculating the ROI on AI? And that is such a deep question. If you're a leader and you're in this space and you're already thinking on these lines, definitely please DM me on LinkedIn, because I definitely want to have a conversation with you, invite you onto the podcast, have this conversation around customer success and other pillars. So basically across the business, how you are thinking of showing and measuring the ROI. But it's here. AI is here. It's gonna stay, and it's not going anywhere. And it is not going to take our jobs, in the sense that every one of us is going to live in a dystopian era where everyone would be like jobless because AI has taken over everything else. I really hope it doesn't happen like the way they show it in Hollywood, but I think the way AI is going to complement us is that it's going to help us become more skilled. I can already see it. It's already helping me. Sorry, what happened there? It's already helping me become more skilled. Well, I hope this helps. Thank you for listening, and next video will be coming soon.